There's a moose. Finally got to see a moose.
We get hit by a car.
She's looking at us. David told us they come down here to lick on the salt. Cool. Finally saw a moose.
Oh, it's taking a piss.
Thanks, Joe. That's on the video. There she goes. There she goes. Back into the woods. Cool. Gosh, they're big animals. Awesome. Beautiful. Cool. All right, gotta get rolling. All right, day 173 here on the AT, and we are back at the Route 17 entrance to the trail. You can see the remnants of Ida are coming through, and we're just trying to get on trail here, get to Rangley, and may not be able to do much in the way of videos today. So, but this lake and area is gorgeous. It's funny, I can see the sun shining north of here, but as you look back, you can see the clouds are coming in. So we hiked off that side yesterday and came out to the lake, and we'll go up that side today. All right, gotta get rolling. May not get a lot of pictures. Okay, we're at Rangley. This is Rangley Lake, I believe, and we're told that this is a big place for snowmobiling in the winter and a very big tourist town. But Ida moved us forward today, and we're just happy to be someplace where we can rest. You can see a couple float planes over there. 1, 2, 3 float planes. It's pretty cool. And we're looking forward to Gail getting here. All right, we got to get rolling. Okay, so we got as lucky as we've gotten on the whole trail. This is the town in Lake Inn. In Rangley. Joe, would you like to give a tour, Joe? Oh, okay. So we have a personal view of the lake. We have a full-on couch, a full-on kitchen, our own porch with chairs, a fireplace with firewood, and 2 bedrooms, both with double queens, and a fully functional bathroom with a shower and a tub that you'd actually be willing to maybe take a bath in. But this, what was it for a night?
$168.
$168 with tax per night.
And don't forget the most important part right now.
We are going to enjoy this day in Rangley because as we move forward, there are only 17 days left, and we only have one more zero planned, which is in Monson before the 100-mile wilderness. So looking forward to Gail getting here later this afternoon and enjoying the beauty of this place together. All right, got to get rolling. Hey everybody, well, we do have this time in Rangley today, and we're waiting on Mudfoot to catch up. There's been question that's been out there for a while, and discussion around tenting versus hammocking. Now, Joe, you are a hammocker, right?
Hammocker for the win.
Hammocker for the win. Give me maybe your top 3 to 5 reasons why hammocking's your choice.
More comfort.
Comfort. Okay, talk about that a little bit.
I got sleep apnea, so the sleeping at a declined angle helps with it.
Okay. All right.
It's also your body. You know, it's. I'm just more comfortable with it.
Okay. So number 1 for you is comfort. Number 2 or 3, 4, and 5.
Number 2 is freedom. I don't have to worry about site selection or anything. I just need 2 trees.
With the exception of places like, and especially on this hike, when you get above elevation where the tree,
Yeah.
you're at alpine. So when we were in Presidential, as an example,
Yeah, Madison, I had to get into a hut, but
yeah,
that was one of the few times.
that's true. And there's been a bunch of times when we struggled to generally find really level tent sites, and you can take a spot between two trees type of
Yeah.
thing.
So I don't.
Three,
I don't think
four, or five. Anything beyond that? I mean,
it's nice it's nice when it's not, when I know it's not going to rain. I don't have to put the tarp up. It's, I can just put it up, and it just feels just comfortable with the wind going through it.
And also from experience myself, with your tarp up, you can create what's called porch mode.
Yeah.
Which you got one side down like a roof and the other set up kind of out flat, that just allows you to have workspace underneath.
Yeah, and I'm plenty of room.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the warmth. No, the warmth.
Oh, the warmth. Well, I've got a top quilt. I've got an under
Talk
quilt.
about that, because some people don't know these things.
Okay, top quilt is just, it's just a quilt. It's just called the top quilt. The under quilt goes underneath the hammock. It's hugging the hammock. So basically, I'm cocooned inside a quilt, and it keeps me nice and toasty.
The one thing you and I discussed about that you have a war bonnet, is that right?
Yeah, I got a war bonnet.
Is that your quilt is sewn into it, and it's not adjustable?
Yeah, mine's a Wookiee quilt by War Bonnet, and it's made specifically for the hammock, for my hammock. It's like and for a specific lay. So all I have to do is connect one side, connect the other side, and then just tie up one quick tie. I don't have to adjust anything. It's perfectly made for my hammock.
Right. And when you talk about the lie, hammockers sleep either 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock at an angle. You don't sleep...
Yeah, about a 15-degree angle, so that your body is... the hammock itself is stiff against your body supports your body the entire way. Otherwise, you're thinking you go straight along, lay with it, and you're laying like a banana, like in a banana.
And that's not comfortable.
That's for the younger people.
Yeah.
Not for the older people like us.
Is there anything else that, off the top of your head, you can think of that you like as an advantage for your hammock situation?
Oh, I keep most of my stuff inside of it, aside from my backpack, so everything's gonna be off the ground.
True.
I don't have to worry about bugs or stuff crawling on top.
Yeah.
Although I do have that mosquito issue.
That's true. Joe spends many evenings, because the way his net works around his hammock, he'll sit in his hammock like a chair for a while. Joe loves to read, by the way, voracious reader. And there'll always be this rare mosquito or two that gets inside, and Joe spends several minutes, if not half hour, hunting mosquitoes with his headlamp at night.
You see a red light just going everywhere, scrambling, trying to find the mosquito, grabbing a tissue paper, and just finally smashing against the netting, and then throwing it outside.
For those people thinking about maybe trying hammocking, what, if any, could you name that are maybe disadvantages or things that you wish were better with a hammock situation?
Hammocks, it's not as flexible. Like if it's gonna rain, once I set up the tarp, it's quicker. I have all the time in the world, but I don't have the option like you do in a tent to just grab my air mattress and just go inside the shelter.
Right.
Unless I got the bridge hammock.
That's right. Yeah.
But that's got its own issues too. It's a little different.
So Joe obviously is very high on the hammock situation. He even has a hammock, as I said yesterday in the video, in his house, and prefers it to his relaxation time to just lounge in a hammock, even sleep in it occasionally.
Yeah, when I was in Germany, I had a little enclosed porch. I had a hammock in there. I'd sleep like 8 months out of the year in that porch.
Yeah. A number of times you've all seen, at least twice I've shown the setup for my tent. Some things I'd say that I love about the tent: a tent creates a private space. I use a duplex. It weighs only 23 ounces because it uses my hiking poles as the actual frame. Some things that I found out about that is that by not being a freestanding tent, sometimes it's not easily movable. I've got to take it down and then move it if I want to do it. Where a freestanding tent, and that means one with its own internal or external frame, you could pick it up and physically move it. I like that private space. I have 2 vestibules, one on each side, 2 exits to the tent. I am able to, because my tent weighs so little, I'm able to carry a fairly heavy and a really wide air mattress, which is 30 inches wide. And if you've ever tried sleeping on the air mattresses that they use for most hammock, or not hammockers, tenters, they're 21 or 22 inches wide, and your arms hang off. And I just decided before the hike that if I was going to spend 8 to 10 hours in my tent, that it was going to be comfortable. Sometimes a negative for a tent is really trying to find a level space. Not so worried about there being bumps or roots or anything underneath, because actually my air mattress takes care of that, evens that out for me, but actually finding a level space. To date, I haven't really had a spot where I couldn't get comfortable in my tent. I've had a couple spots where in the morning I woke up on one side of the tent or the other side of the tent, or maybe at the end, or the moved down over the night, but for the most part comfortable. I can put all of my stuff inside the tent, and so it's dry, and I can get dressed in the tent, and I can be essentially covered from start to finish. It is a little crowded when you're trying to do that. It's not as free. One thing about Joe that he didn't mention for the tarp, when his tarp's up, he can put the tarp up first and then work to put his hammock and everything up under a dry area. And unless it's really pouring and water's literally running under the tarp, it stays essentially dry.
When we were refilling our water bottles with all
Oh,
my tarp.
that's something to mention, Joe. We have, on at least 2 occasions that I can remember, had to set up camp very quickly, and we're away from water source essentially. And even the water source that we would use becomes top water, meaning water that's coming off the surface and picking up stuff. But what we have done is we've filled our water bottles off Joe's tarp, because his tarp is massive. He also has a Dyneema tarp, so super expensive. It's the same material as my tent is made out of, but it's huge, and we've filled our water bottles off it several times, which made it really good. In the sense of having a surface that collected water, but those are in some torrential downpours that we've had.
When it's not torrential, it's like I'm brushing my teeth. I just put my teeth under the water dripping.
Very true. But other than that, Joe and I, we comment to each other multiple times about the advantage we like or dislike about our setups. I have hammocked and I never really learned to set a ridgeline. Joe does have a ridgeline. We didn't talk about that. A ridgeline's a rope that goes between the 2 top ends of your hammock and keeps the hang consistent. And previously, I just didn't learn how to do that.
Mine was built into it, so I know.
Yeah, I've talked to Joe. If I were ever to do another long distance hike, I may go back to hammock. Not for anything other than just a change. In the fact that for the most part you can set up anywhere on the Appalachian Trail. Now, Joe's hoping to do the PCT Trail, and he's actually going to have to go to a tent, at least initially, because the southern portion's in desert, and there aren't any trees to hang from. So
you can get portable hammock stands for it's like 3 pounds.
Yeah, you don't want to carry the extra. You got to carry extra water in the desert to begin with. So anyways, I promised for a long time to do a piece on advantages of the hammock and setup. I would say, and Joe might argue this, it takes me very little time to set up my tent. Joe has a lot more adjustments to make on the hammock, so I would say
it's because of the freaking the setup. I switched at the beginning.
Talk about that.
15-foot. I had a 15-foot tree straps. I could set it up fast. I just wrap it around the tree, connect it, adjust it really quickly.
But heavy.
Yeah, but now I switched over to the whoopee slings. It weighs about 5 ounces less, but it's a lot more fussier.
Yeah. So, anyways, both have positives. Both have some drawbacks. A lot of times I have to dry my tent out during the day, even though it's Dyneema. It picks up moisture, holds it, and I don't want to set up I'll say in damp
Well, I
conditions.
think
So
mine probably has the moisture. I just don't care.
oh, you don't care? Well,
No.
anyways, we both could see positives and negatives for the other setup. One thing that we should mention is Joe is not prepared to stay in shelters even in terrible weather. And when we were in the Smokies, by rule, you were supposed to stay in the shelter unless it was full.
COVID, yeah.
And Joe was happy because COVID allowed for that rule to be waived. But he doesn't have padding or a air mattress to set up, so very uncomfortable for him if he has to sleep in there because he's sleeping on the hardwood floor, and that's not much fun.
Yeah.
So
Plus, I'm a pretty loud snorer.
yeah, you
Plus,
are.
Other people are loud snorers, so I get to be away from all of that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, like I said, promised for a long time to do a little piece on the hammock and the tent and just the positives and negatives, not one better than the other type of thing, but just things that
we know which one's better.
Yeah. We both personally like what we're using, is what Joe is trying to say. All right. Again, we're waiting for Mudfoot to catch up, and Gail's going to meet us later today. And we're really excited about that because we are now 17 days from Summit, and that's pretty darn exciting. All right. Got to get rolling.